The Masai Mara Ritz Carlton drama is made up of 3 characters. There is, of course, the Maasai community, there is the law, and there is foreign money. So let's start with the Maasai community, because from here you'll realize that, first of all, the Maasai community now is fighting as community, but in the case, in the legal defense for erecting the Ritz Carlton along the migration route, on the corridor of the wild beast migration, causing animals to panic, go back to the river, being stumbled, basically died because of that, and also it brought a shock into their system and stress, right? The reason that is not even legally going to win is because right now the case is not even against the Maasai community versus the Ritz Carlton. It is the Maasai community against their government, the county government of Narok, and the Ritz Carlton wako pamoja hivi. Remember who opened the hotel? Of course, in defense, the Narok County is saying they did the right impact assessment, the paperwork was proper, and the lease was proper. Now, why is this a problem? Because if you have your county government standing against the people, you are not going to win. And now they're not going to win because of the Maasai community and how it has been groomed over the years. While the rest of Kenya was being taught to go out to be independent while still maintaining communal groups and collectiveness in a way, right? The Maasai community was romanticized that their communal element is their winning factor. Therefore, under no circumstances whatsoever should they break up. So they were never given the option of having a plan B, or even members of their community who would try to leave the community were seen as being, I wouldn't say stigmatized, but like not proper Maasai. So they created this culture, unlike most other communities in Kenya, where it is okay to go out there, make money, and come and bring a different opinion, because the Maasai community has some of the most dominant NGOs. And these NGOs are in 2 areas. One, social services, and conservancy. Conservancy NGOs, as we know, they are there to make sure communities are ripe for the picking, because any area with conservation has a lot of resources, mainly in mineral wealth, basically. And as such, you want them to be together so that once it's time to split them, you just work with a few people, the community elders. The land has funny leasehold and ownership, and so you can easily get a large chunk of land given to you for free, or on a leasehold. Then you can say you are utilizing it legally. The other legal thing that has also happened, and I talked about it here, and people like Toa wa Masai kwa mdomo yako, let me tell you, there are 2 others who have taken over the land. The plantations, uko Isinya uko, and the carbon credit people. They lease a large piece of land. You can't use it. It is there, and then you go home. Same as leasing land for agriculture. Rather than them being the ones to do it, people come, they lease, and they are taught to be idle. Now, you would then groom the community to become helpless. They have learned helplessness, but this is romanticized as keeping their culture. So their culture has not upgraded to compete in the year 2025. And that is why even their own county government, where watu walikuwa nasema devolution itawaletea maendeleo na itawa protect vizuri from the enemy that is the national government, is a lie. Because money cannot outbid sentimentality of tribe, of place, of wherever. Your own tribesmates. Kenya is not, right now the corrupt people are not, they are tribesmates of people. They are brothers and sisters of people you know. They are your community. They may not be tribe, but it's our community. We've been to the same schools. Those who worship, you have been in the same halls of worship, whether it is the mosque or the churches. Mnawajua hapo, mnakaanga na wao. Mkienda burial na wedding, they are there seated with you kwanza at the front of the pew, because these people love them, because they are going to contribute money to show that they have made it. They have stolen, but they've made it, because we have also romanticized that kind of theft. So once this education, so the social services were, I said social services, so let me explain that because now it comes in handy. It was the education and the containment. So in Maasai land, you find a lot of the solutions are still what you call mobile. They were mobile to take care of the pastoralism. Now, compare the type of pastoralism that happens in Maasai land versus modern pastoralism. But modern pastoralism, one of the best examples of modern pastoralism is what the Chinese did in the deserts, where they put up the solar panels, then the solar panels brought shade and some runoff and grass grew, because grass grows, then you bring sheep to graze, and then you protect that, and that works. Modern pastoralism requires you to have boundaries, and those boundaries must be managed and can be maintained. But for them, it's let's still preserve, and we actually romanticize when the Maasai is moving from here to here, rather than being effective. So ni kama unawapatia kazi ya to work, it's like a curse to work the rest of your days without ever settling down to build something, roots, and to make sure that you have something to pass on to your future generation. Because that romanticization, Maasai wamekuja Nairobi because it's their land. Sure, sijakataa hiyo, but when it's Nairobi, make it in semi-permanent, productive issue. So that it is not that every time they start from zero. They took modernity and threw to the, it's like they threw to the bathwater. Like you throw the baby with the bathwater. There was still something to be cleaned and to be gleaned from modern systems. But it has been romanticized because that's what makes money. That's what makes money in the West, to see these people are still living like it's 19 or something. Actually, if you had 1800s, if you've even seen even the diets, the fads that have come, that these people, the Maasai diet, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it has been created and romanticized like that. And yet, in terms of lifespans, the people who enjoy in Kenya, and this is not tribal, I'm just giving you facts. In terms of longevity, in terms of people living longer, centennials, is the Kamba community. Because it's not so much what you eat, it's how you eat it, how you are conditioned. So there is, I don't want to get into that. I don't know how I've gotten into that, but I'm saying, in terms of documented, but that romanticization, but how is it romanticized Mukamba? Why? They are so mixed. There is traditional, there is modern. There is barely any traditional left. It's the same way you can't romanticize a Kikuyu. How? Mtu ako hapo busy hustling. What is romantic about this? We are surviving. But their survival, which was also planned, integration with the larger Kenyan community. There is a way, you all know, means of control. Keep people close and make it look sexy. That's what it was done. But now they also made them fearful of the rest of the Kenyans. And then that's why the only people they could look up to were the whites and the donors. So when the white and the Chinese, they are there in plenty. I wouldn't be surprised if those financing are also coming from Chinese factor. Because don't forget, they can also do a Ritz, even as Chinese. So what they do is now, because these are the people who have been there to educate them on the move, they're the ones to give them vaccination on the move, they're the ones who have deployed all these things, they're the people that they see as helping them. Because ile kalandi yao iko hapo, wanapata 20k a year from carbon credits. Ile ngine imelisiwa hapo, mtu anawapatia 5k per acre every year. So hiyo ni pesa inaingia bure, because that's what they say. Pesa inaingia bure. So hii maneno ya Ritz Carlton is just now, this structure is permanent, but it's not so permanent. It's at camp on a leasehold. By the time 5 other camps are set up, because they will be, because the investment proposals we've done for camps in along the Mara, there are so many to the Chinese, because I've seen so many passing around. There are so many from Kenyans who have gone and leased the land, then applied for funding for investors. So 20-year, 25-year leases are in Maasai Mara right now with a lot of Kenyans. So when Kenyans realize they are not going to go directly, they used the same tactics as the whites, as the foreigners. You get them so it doesn't look Kenyan and you make it glamorous. That's why they were saying it is still low impact because it's not so big. Yani ni only the very rich. So they are not going to win against it.